People today are quite rattled by what the events that took place last Sunday on the bridge. The 90,000, what we could say, anti-Israel, anti-Semites, or it's anti-Semitic event, espousing hatred for the Jewish people, for Israel. It's really rattled our community. Now the interesting thing is, we're actually have been in this roller coaster. Of course, all started on October 7th, where we're in the depths of the abyss. A terrible thing that took place. But starting from the beepers in Lebanon, culminating with the war with Iran, and many moments of incredible heights and miracles that we've seen, where Hashem has protected us. Hashem has told us He's here with us. How do I know it's a miracle? Because if you would have thought beforehand that it would happen, you would say, yeah, if that happens, it's a miracle. 12 days, destroying Iran's nuclear sites with no military losses. Yes, we had civilian losses, but not in the numbers that were assumed would happen. So Hashem showed us incredible miracles. So we're this high, wow, look at these miracles. And you think, well, this is it, Mashiach is coming, and then boom, just shortly thereafter we come down. This descent with the campaign, this media campaign against Israel, and everyone buying into the lies of starvation, and etc., etc. That is, and we know they lie, and yet it's accepted by some. You could say sometimes even reasonable correspondence. It's shocking, and then the culmination being what happened on the bridge. So, how are we meant to respond? Are we just meant to live in fear? Are we meant to pack our bags? Think about a roller coaster, actually. What's a roller coaster meant to do? A roller coaster wakes us up. It, instead of life being comfortably numb, it kind of, you go from the one hand you have fear, and then you have exhilaration, and right within each other, two opposite emotions that happen whilst you go on this roller coaster. And this we're having in this roller coaster of life. We have the exhilaration of the miracles, then we have the feeling, a pit in our stomach from all the terrible things that are taking place. But they're meant to wake us up. If God does miracles for you, wow. What is it? What does it say? Should we just say thank you? No. You have to, what are you doing for God, for the miracles they've done? And then when you see such hatred against the Jewish people, you have to start asking yourself, what does it mean to be a Jew? What is it to be a Jewish person? Do we just go on with life? Or is it meant to be a message for us? The Rebbe told my wife's grandfather, Rabbi Chaim Gutnick, after 1967, there were three events that happened after the Holocaust that were opportunities for Mashiach to come, but we squandered it. The first was the miracles of 1948. And instead of thanking God and acknowledging God and responding by doing positive things spiritually, there was a debate if God's name should even be mentioned in the document of independence. And instead, they come up with some kind of a compromise, to use the term Tzur Yisrael, Rock of Israel. For the religious, they could say, okay, that means God, and for the others, it can mean whatever, Rock of Israel, history or whatever. So you don't want to mention me? Okay. So Mashiach didn't come. And the Rebbe said the Sinai event, the 1956, when we were able to conquer Sinai and we put our faith in the French Mirages and the British planes instead of in Hashem. And most importantly, 1967, when we saw such incredible miracles, instead of attributing it to God's miracles, we started saying it's the strength of the Israeli army. And we kind of lost the opportunity at that time. The Rebbe said after 1967, the people are awake. Now's the time for spiritual awakening. And with that spiritual awakening, Mashiach could come here, could then come. And I think anytime there's a shakeup, it's a message. It's Hashem talking to us. Wake up. What are you doing here? What's your purpose? You know, there's an age-old question. And the question is, why does the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, not mention the world to come, the afterlife? 5 books of Moses speak sometimes about reward, but reward in this world. Long life, rain, peace, tranquility, prosperity. Doesn't speak about, well, you do mitzvahs, you listen to God, you'll get the world to come. So the Rambam explains it like this, that actually the Torah doesn't talk to us about rewards altogether. Even those physical rewards, they're not rewards. They're working conditions. God is, you could pay there's the working conditions you give a worker, and then there's the reward, the payment you give the worker. The working conditions are not a payment. They just allow him to do his work in a better way. And the better the worker, the better the conditions he will have to do his work. And so, when we show Hashem, and this is what the Torah is saying, that you're going in my statutes and you're learning your Torah, that means you want to do it. And you want to do my work, I'm going to make your work easier. So I'm not going to give you hunger, and you're not going to have a deficiency in parnasa, and you're not going to have illness in your home, because if you did, that will stop you. That will mean you won't have decent work conditions. So Hashem says, I'm going to take those things away from you, and I'm going to give you beneficence so that you could do the mitzvahs as you're showing you're doing. So this is how we have to see anything positive Hashem does for us. We have the miracles that Hashem has shown us just a month ago. They're meant to tell us, hey, what am I doing for God? He's giving us the conditions that we're able to do for Him. Conversely, when things go wrong, when things are as shocking as they've been lately, they're also meant to say, I am Jewish, I am being hated. What does it mean to be Jewish? Ask yourself that question. It means to be God's ambassador on earth to do His mission, which is clearly defined in the Torah mitzvahs. And so that you should not be afraid or fearful. What we're seeing is the signs that are expressed in the end of the book of Daniel. The end of the book of Daniel, Daniel has confusion and not understanding things. And God says, yes, in the time of exile, things are not understood. They're not clear. But when Mashiach comes, things will be clarified. You'll see who's on the right side and who's on the wrong side. Who is expresses good and who is evil. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing, yes, a lot of evil people. A lot. Masses. But at least it's not hidden anymore. It's clear. When Mashiach comes, one of the concepts of Mashiach, there'll be a clarification and clarity in the world. That good and evil, which has been intermixed since the eating from the tree of knowledge, which is called Eitz Hadas Teverah, tree of knowledge, good and evil, they've been intermixed. When Mashiach comes, they each get clarified. And the good is separated from the evil, from the bad. And that's what we're seeing. So if we see it as a precursor for the coming of Mashiach, it should not depress us. It should uplift us. The main thing is, how do we respond? We need to respond like Jews. We need to respond like committed Jews. We need to keep our faith, strong faith in Hashem, and to do His mitzvahs. And the way to do so is to actually engage with practical ways and practical advice. The Rabbinical Council of New South Wales have given practical advice of engaging the Shabbos and unity the Shabbos and coming to shul and having a meal, lighting your Shabbos candles on time. That's a way of doing it. And by doing so, in other words, what is taking place is in order to wake us up. Wake us up to be the Jews we're meant to be. And when we are, then we actually bring calm to the world. Something the Rebbe said in 1980, I remember the talk. The Rebbe was saying, the world is shaking. I was talking, there was issues between America and Russia, there were issues in Israel. And the reason for that is because we're shaky. We're shaky in our observance. If we're steadfast, if we're straightforward, if we walk with pride and who we are, then that is how we stabilize ourselves. That's the way the world becomes stabilized. Good Shabbos.